Gaming Morning Show continues. Thanks for being with us on this Friday as we are happy to welcome in Josh and Kris to talk about a fundraiser coming up this weekend for NAACP's Legal Defense Fund. We welcome Josh and Kris to Gaming Morning Show right now. Appreciate you both taking the time to join us as we look forward to this event. It's coming up over the weekend, so let's kind of start with the who, when, why, what, and where, right? Give us the details of the event. When do they start, and what can we expect with each?
Yeah, certainly. So the charity stream is taking place on my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/Joshua Simons. It's my name. So it's pretty easy to remember. Yeah, so we're pretty excited about this. It'll be on this Sunday, February 7th, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time or 11 a.m. Pacific Time. And there's going to be two back-to-back D&D games. The first one we're calling Oops, All Warlocks. It's a game of all warlocks. It's exactly what it sounds like. And then there'll be a little bit of a break as we're gonna get casts switched around, leading into our second game, which is Oops, All Monks. It's all monks, just like it sounds like. It's easy. It makes branding so simple. And what I'm super excited about for these two games, you might think it's a challenge. It is. They're connected. They are actually like one is affecting the other. So I'm super stoked about this. We're going to have a lot of fun. And like you mentioned, it is all for charity. We are raising money for the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund, which, you know, is a great cause. So excited to do that.
Yeah, a lot of great
Nice.
guests, it looks like.
Yeah, that's so you're both tabletop role-playing game writers. Talk to me a little bit about what drives you with that specific work and something that really stands out and makes writing for that genre unique.
Do you want to take that first, Kris?
Okay. So I think for me, I've been playing tabletops for a few years now, and immediately, pretty much upon entering this arena, immediately kind of noticed that there's a lot of great adventures and writers and modules and things out there. Not a ton of diversity when it comes to writing staffs. And, you know, the content that they produce a lot of times. So felt like I could bring some value to that. For me, in terms of the second part of your question, writing a game is so, or at least a tabletop RPG is so different than other types of writing, because with other types of writing, it's for the most part static. So you create this work, whatever the genre is for the most part, and people, while they are free to interpret whatever it is that you've put out, for the most part, it is what it is. You said what you said, you wrote what you wrote. But with tabletop games, you're specifically writing something with the intention of someone taking it and making it their own. So it's a unique challenge in creating something that you're proud of and that feels like it is a part of you and that you are inspired by and hope inspires others, but also leaving enough room for other people to make their mark and have that same impact internally as well. So it's a totally different beast in my mind. But I don't know, Josh, you might have a semi-different opinion if you do.
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head there. It's what I love about it is you're pretty much just like writing a bunch of plot hooks and saying, and here's some relevant information if you want it, but don't feel obligated to. But if you want it, and then, you know, you're just building the car and then someone else gets to drive it. And so one of my favorite things, honestly, about writing tabletop stuff is then getting messages after the fact going like, hey, I ran your adventure and I did this thing and I did this thing that like weren't written in it. And it was the coolest thing. And I go, huh, that's really clever. I should have done that. Why didn't I think of that? But you hear all these great stories and you see people using the stuff that you put out. It's so exciting. I do want to hit on the first bit of what Kris said there, because you know, I think tabletop gaming has historically been a very, very white industry, and really only in the last few years have we seen not only just people's kind of eyes be open to that, but also some intentional effort to try and correct what is definitely I don't want to say a wrong, but definitely a mistake that should and is being remedied. And I think one of the beautiful things about not only our event on the 7th, but also just this kind of movement happening in tabletop gaming in general, is we're seeing more and more people of these incredibly diverse backgrounds, whether that is Black creators, whether that is, Asian creators, Hispanic creators, whether that's people with different gender identities or sexual orientations. We're seeing all of these cool new viewpoints. We're seeing folks who are disabled. We're seeing folks who are coming in and looking at things with this kind of neurodivergent approach. And we're seeing cool new things added to the game that ultimately make our experience richer for everyone, because we're getting different viewpoints and different topics. And that's something that I'm personally really excited about, and that I think tabletop gaming as a whole is benefiting from, and something that we're kind of leaning into with this event as well, celebrating Black History Month here in February.
We got Josh and Kris joining us on Gaming Morning Show. The fundraiser, as we mentioned at the top, is for the NAACP's Legal Defense Fund. And I would like to get your insight on what that fund does specifically, and for the purposes of your event, why you chose that as the beneficiary.
Yeah. So as we were looking at things, we knew we wanted to focus on the topic of racial injustice as we were looking at different charities to support. And I had a short list that I had kind of collected and said, hey, these are the ones that I'm familiar with. And then I presented it to my players, because I've got a phenomenal group of players who, quite frankly, know more than I do. And that's why I like them. Because, it's impossible to know everything about everything. And that's why I keep other people around to help me learn stuff that I don't know. And so I kind of presented this list and got some feedback, and we settled on the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, because not only is that helping specifically like Black people who are going through the criminal justice system, but also it's got that and education bit at the end, which isn't just, okay, let's help people who are struggling, but let's actually try to rectify the issues that we're currently seeing right now, working to improve the situation so that the situation we're in doesn't keep happening. And Kris, you can absolutely elaborate on that, but that's at least part of why I was drawn to it.
Yeah, I agree on all points, but for me, the education piece is what's critically important. The NAACP, this I guess branch in which they are kind of supporting litigation that protects people of color and Black people in this country, has been around forever, right? Since like the 40s. But the Defense Fund or Defense and Education Fund became independent, not like almost 20 years later. So it's been its own entity for a very long time. And I appreciate their consistent mission in trying to make a situation better than it has been. I know for a fact they have at least 2 scholarships, which I think is incredibly important, kind of like what Josh said, contributing to the solution rather than just fixing what's already broken. And they continue to do work that is just as relevant now as it was then, which I think is another hallmark of what makes them kind of unique as an organization. So there were a lot of really good options that Josh presented, but that one I jumped on just because they have such a solid history and such a profound mission that I think affects a lot of arenas besides maybe just one small niche.
Well, Kris, let's start with you then. If someone wants to connect with you, how would they find you? What are some of the best ways to do so? And then, Josh, if you can also recap not only where to find you, but the specifics of the event, that would certainly be appreciated.
Cool. Absolutely. Where to find me, besides in your dreams. I am on Twitter. That's the easiest place to find me, at Kiss of Hemlock. I hang around various Discords, and I have a lot of fun projects going on, some streamed events. as well as some streamed campaigns, actual plays. I also do some podcasting. You can find me in several different projects, the Fae Forge Academy being one of them. I also participate in one called Rolls as Written. And there's another really cool one called Roads Uncharted that's coming out soon, or in which I will make my debut soon. I should correct myself. But I'm all over the place. So Twitter's the best place to start, and then we can hang out in all kinds of places.
Yeah. And I am on pretty much every social media platform. My handle across the board is Joshua M. Simons. That's the name that I publish under. But someone took Joshua M. Simons on Twitch, and so I stream with Joshua Simons. I always make the joke, if you can find my M, please tell me where it is. I want it back. But yeah, I'm all over the place. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And yeah, I'm in a couple of shows. Most of my main shows that I do are on hiatus right now, but we'll be back probably in April, I believe. But yeah, social media is the place to be, and hopefully you'll be able to join us on Sunday, February 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then subsequently at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. if you're on Pacific time, and everything in between, as we have these two back-to-back charity games. It's going to be a blast.
Josh, Kris, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on Gaming Morning Show. We will look forward to those events again, 2 p.m., 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. Best of luck, and thanks so much for working hard to raise funds for a great cause.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh, Kris.